Welcome to G3, Games, Gadgets, and Guests, an audio and video podcast from 702 Communications. I'm your host, Brian Cromit. If you've been a loyal listener or watcher, thank you and welcome back. We've got some format changes for you this year that we hope you'll love. If you're new, welcome. We hope you'll enjoy what you see and hear. So instead of putting everything together in a single podcast like we did last year, we're going to break out our segments into individual episodes. So this week, you're going to hear from my guest, Dave Binkard from PODS Game Design. In the upcoming weeks, on my gadget episode, I've kind of started collecting headphones, much to my wife's chagrin. And though I'm no audiophile, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite new acquisitions. On the game episode, if you're playing Rainbow Six Siege like I am, new operators were released today, and a new map was released today, and I'm excited to see them. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to run through customization on one of the new characters and run through a scenario. So, hoping you'll love the new format, and I'm going to be right back with my guest. And we are happy to welcome Dave Binkard from PODS Game Design to the show today. Dave, welcome.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
So, for people that don't know, tell us a little bit about PODS.
Well, PODS Game Design, we're a small educational business in the Moorhead Center Mall. And what we do is teach kids how to make video games.
Cool.
It's every kid's dream. I know it was my dream when I was a kid to learn how to make my own games, and now I'm happy to be able to teach kids how to do it themselves.
That's fantastic. In fact, I don't think my kids are probably unique in that when we talk careers, that was from the very first time we asked them, what might you want to do? Video game design, or, ultimately we all know that people want to be able to play video games for a living, but video game design is a close second. So I think that's awesome. And tell me about the reception or how you launched that then.
Oh, well, it's a long story. So
we've got time.
Way back when we started at MSUM's College for Kids and Teens program. Mm-hmm. And I pitched the idea to the director. How about a class in video game design? She said, okay. So we decided to do 2 sections, 20 kids each, so 40 kids total. Registration window opens, and about 4 days later, I get an email from the director and said, one class is full, the other one's filling up class. Can we add a 3rd section? I said, okay. A few weeks later, I get another email. All sections are full. Can we add a few more seats to each one? I said, okay. And then a few weeks later, I got another email. And then a few weeks later, I got another email. So we ended up with 35 kids in each section. But then once we actually get there and start teaching, we find out that she snuck another student into each section. So 36 kids, went from 40 seats to 108 kids. And that is just phenomenal.
No, that's
reception.
Fantastic. You start something like that and you hope it's going to be successful, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you know there's going to be some interest, but it's really phenomenal to hear that it just blew up like that. Were there logistical challenges then to having to put a program like that together on that scale when you thought it was going to be this?
Well, I had a lot of help from the director, and
okay,
she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But putting it together for ourselves, once we were done with the classes, we figured, well, why not continue doing this? Mm-hmm. So my wife and I decided to start our own business. We had never started our own business before. We had no idea what to do, but we talked to a few people, got some advice, and we were able to put it together. So now we've got the arcade in the Moorhead Center Mall, and that's where we do our classes too. Excellent.
So let's talk just a little bit about, when you're talking about game design, what kind of games are kids learning how to develop?
We're starting with the program RPG Maker, VXAce.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful program, perfect for teaching kids the beginning stuff. Like, it's easy to learn, it's easy to pick up. You can pick it up in a couple of hours, and it's pretty versatile. It does make just like top-down RPGs from like the Super Nintendo era, but just the amount of programming that goes into it, I think a lot of kids are deceived by how it looks. It looks pretty easy, but once they get into it, then they realize, oh, well, there's a lot more work involved.
There's a lot more complexity that goes into a
Yes.
video game than just developing the overall story arc, right?
There's a lot more depth to it.
Yep.
And then pretty soon here we're going to branch into Game Maker Studio, and that's going to be an interesting jump as well.
Okay.
And that has a lot more flexibility than RPG Maker. You can make games like the arcade classics, the side scrollers, just about anything.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about how your sessions are structured then.
So our sessions go on a monthly basis. Each session is about 4 days of classes, about 2.5 hours for each class. Kids come in, they don't have to bring laptops, they don't have to bring flash drives, they don't have to bring anything, just themselves. We provide everything, laptops, flash drives, everything they would need to make their own game. And then at the end of class, we'll burn their game to a CD so they can take it home, show it to their family and friends, make their friends insanely jealous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have openings right now or classes going on now or?
We just finished with our January classes last
Okay.
weekend. Our February classes start on the 5th and 6th, and then our March classes start that first weekend in March too.
Okay. And where is PODS going next? I mean, you got the space in the mall now and you're holding regular classes, and are you guys looking to expand? Are you moving markets or
Well, that
what's on the horizon here?
That would be the ideal. Eventually, we want to expand into places like Bismarck, Grand Forks, maybe even down in the cities. I think those would be pretty good markets. Just kind of keep it local in the area for now and then, seeing how it does at those expanded spots. And this is years down the road, but see how we do there, and then maybe we could expand it even further.
So you've got a background as a teacher, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so this was kind of a natural progression for you.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about how your education or your prep for a career as a teacher is feeding into this, and what challenges you've faced.
So I teach English composition down at NDSCS in Wahpeton, and I got my master's degree from MSUM in creative writing. And that really helps with like the whole RPG maker side of things, because those kind of games are more story based. So world building, storylines, that's kind of my thing. Graphic design, I'm getting there.
Okay.
But at NDSCS, I teach high school kids. I do the dual credit English classes, and so I work naturally with high school kids. And at the College for Kids and Teens program, I've worked with kids as young as 8 there, and our classes work pretty well with that, the age range that we work with. So I've gotten quite a bit of experience from both College for Kids and my position as a teacher, and this is something that I absolutely love to do. Game design's been a hobby of mine since I was a teenager, and now just to be able to teach it, it's like a dream come true.
So right now you guys are at a place where you and your wife are running it, and you feel like you got the staff to do what you need, or you're looking to expand and bring in more instructors, or?
Well, we do have a guy that's interested in some Unity classes, and we're working out some details. But I think once we work with RPG Maker and Game Maker Studio, Unity and Unreal are the next places to go. Okay. The next programs to use.
And just out of curiosity, what are your favorite games, or what are you playing now?
My all-time favorite game is Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Awesome story.
Old school.
Yes. And then for the newer games, I'd say Skyrim is probably my favorite.
Okay. And where can we find more information about PODS?
We have a website, podsgamedesign.com, and we also have a Facebook page and a Twitter page as well. And
you've got an email list or a newsletter that you send out?
Yep. We send out a monthly newsletter pretty much at the end of each month, says what's going on. We also talk about things that are going on in the area, game making events, the Fargo Game Makers, what they're up to, all that fun stuff.
And you mentioned, too, that you've got this space and you've got the classes, but you've also got an arcade.
That's right.
Talk to us about the arcade.
So if you like the older games like, say, Duck Hunt or Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario 64, we're the place that you want to come to.
And they can find out information about booking some time in the arcade on your website as well.
Yep. And we even do birthday parties, special events. We've had some pretty successful birthday parties. Just a few weeks ago, we had a whole bunch of like 12, 13, 14-year-old kids all playing Mario Kart 64, and they even had a bracket set up, and it was just wonderful.
Perfect. Well, I think what you're doing is great, and I'm sure the kids are enjoying it. And who knows how far and how many people you're going to inspire by doing this. So I congratulations to you. Love to see the success here and love to see another Fargo success story. So thanks again for coming in today. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we should know about PODS before we let you go?
We recently won the Belief Award from Emerging Prairie, and that's for our dedication in introducing kids to technology and just this awesomely unique way, game design, because it really hits on a whole bunch of different disciplines. I think people think game design, well, how is that beneficial for kids? What do they really learn? Well, there's math involved, tons of math that goes into the programming side of things. There's art, graphic design, level
critical
design,
thinking. There's
definitely
creative,
critical thinking, abstract thinking. I mean, this is really combines everything that they're learning in school into a nice, neat package.
No, yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. So I think that's great, and I wish you the best of luck, and thanks again for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's it. Thanks again to Dave Binkard from PODS Game Design for joining me today. And I know this is a shorter episode than you're used to, but we've got some great stuff coming up for you. Take a look. We're going to be putting more information out about the next Games on the Plains event, so put that on your radar. That's coming up February 27th, again at the Prairie Den, and we're very excited to be a sponsor for that again. If you're not subscribed already, if you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on SoundCloud, you can find us on Stitcher, you can find us in the iOS store, and we'd love to make sure you don't miss a thing. So until next time, I'm Brian Crommett, and game on.